What is going on, everybody? Back on it. One Piece 434. Apologize if the red light is like super aggressive. You see it like flickering here. I'm already sat down. Fuck it, we just do it. Jumping into this, same shit, different episode. I've been complaining about it for the last 10 episodes. Not really gonna get into it. We're making our way slowly. What are we on, level 4? So we only have one more level to go. I'm curious if there's gonna be, because have we ran into it? We've ran into one past villain or somebody that we've had an interaction with per level so far. We went from Buggy to Mr. 3 to Bon Clay on the 3 levels, or I guess on the 3 levels. Got one more level, so I'm curious, is there anybody on this level that we've ran into? I'm trying to think. I don't think there would be anybody here. Maybe a CP9 member, because Enru is off-world. Who knows what he's up to? We probably never see him again. And Crocodile's here, but he's on level 5. So I think besides any of the CP9 members, there isn't another villain that I get. Kalahodo could be, but is he really going to be someone that's on level 5? Highly unlikely. So I'm curious if we run into anybody that we as the viewer and Luffy know on level 4. I kind of don't want there to be somebody, because I feel like if we add somebody else, it's going to be drawn out episodes to catch back up with them like it has been with everybody else. But Boa's leaving. She's done all she could. I don't know how I wanted it to play out, because now that I know that Garp's not here, I guess Boa doesn't need to be here either, because I thought we might get something crazy of like, because remember I thought at least Garp was having that conversation with Ace at the same time that we were infiltrating. So be curious. I really wanted to see like they get word that like Luffy Straw Hat is broken in, and the word gets down to there, like it got to Ace. Garp would immediately know who that is. Of course Ace knows who that is. So like, what does Garp think or do in that situation? Then Boa's here, because I would personally think, in my opinion, and then Jinbei would probably help. Between Jinbei, Ace, Boa, Garp, Luffy, we getting the fuck up out of here. I don't know how far we make it, but they definitely get out. But scrap that plan. It looks like Garp's conversation happened way before we got here. Boa's leaving. The other guys are of no help, by the way. Like Bon Clay's passionate, but like when it really comes to like moving, he's not about, he ain't got enough bricks in his back pocket. So it's literally just us, to be honest, if shit hits the fan. Now again, if we get to Ace and we get Jinbei broken out, we've got some firepower. If you can cause chaos and maybe break out everybody on level 5, then they might not be helping us, but they're causing enough commotion that we might be able to get out. So regardless, let's see. Again, I don't think Luffy's taking the situation serious enough. But I've thought that about Luffy for the past like 400 episodes by now. So let's see what we've got. Okay. Why would you even tell Boa that information? Oh, Miss Hancock. We're not even at level 4 yet. We haven't really gotten in there yet. This is like the worst thing for him. You know how like water or moisture was like the worst thing for Crocodile, and rubber was like the worst thing for Enru. This heat is the worst thing for fucking Mr. 3 right now. Yeah, Luffy doesn't understand the gravity of the situation that he's in. I don't know what it'll take. Because when he was bawling his eyes out on the ground like a useless child, when his crew got what he thought might have been killed, and the crew was no more, I think it's going to get even worse than that feeling. And will it click then for him? Who knows? Who knows if it'll ever click for him then? Who knows? I think you guys are going... Yeah, I was about to say, I think you guys are going the wrong way. And I'm also curious, so there's that girl, I forget her name, some dominatrix looking, that she's got some hybrid beast under her control. Is she about that life? Does she possess hockey? Does she possess a devil's fruit? Or is all that's to her is the kind of, I guess, animals that she orders around? We'll see. Who do they have locked up down here? This is awful. Like, absolutely awful. I want us to run into somebody we might know, because, like, holy shit, they got you down here. This is awful. But then it's like, I don't want us to waste any more time. What is this man, bear, pig, beast over here? Gonna put him in that hot... I'm assuming we don't cold kill these guys. Oh, I thought we'd fall down and get in the way. I guess they're dead. Yeah, you're definitely burning. Oh, wow. So they make the prisoners that are on this level keep the fire going. Like I said, it's like walking on pavement. Like black top pavement. In like mid-July. In the south. Prisoner escaping. He's made it like 30 feet, by the way. That is somebody we know. That's Mr. 1? 2? Yeah, that's the one that Zoro fought. That's got the devil's fruit. That's like, oh shit. What was he, steel or some shit? All right, but I mean, again, he did not have the impact that the other ones that are currently in our group had. I don't think he had any interaction with Luffy. Now he would know Bon Clay and Mr. 3 though. They would have a relationship. Pretty sure that's who this guy is. Yeah, he's Mr. 1. Yeah. Again, forgettable for the most part. I feel like Mr. 3 and Bon Clay left more of an impact on this, like, on the story than him. I feel like he did make for an interesting matchup with Zoro, though. I felt like that was good. But that's about it. Because she was eating so much before. Or Luffy was. They're gonna get word. Red-haired? Is he talking about Shanks? Who are we talking about? Kaido? Stopped him from attacking Whitebeard. Yeah. Oh, Whitebeard's coming. I hope you guys know it's tough because it's like you want to get the you want to capture their vice captains, their captains. They're still darkening out that warlord that we don't really know. I mean, the admiral that we don't really know. Vice admiral, excuse me. Whitebeard can really go up against all that, huh? I still just refuse to believe it, but you guys keep enforcing to me like how much manpower he has and how much territory he controls, which I get. Like, But the same thing, like the Marines have tons of foot soldiers and manpower, and they're not about shit. Someone like Enru against like 80% of the Marines that we've ran across could literally touch down lightning and wipe out like 80% of the fodder. So like, if Whitebeard has that type of levels under his control, and it's 80% is like that fodder, it's like, okay, fodder cancels out fodder. So let's start talking about some of the higher ups. Let's start talking about like Whitebeard himself, whoever Whitebeard's direct captain is, his like second in command is Ace. So like, where are their power levels? Are you telling me like Whitebeard is as strong as like 3 vice admirals together? Okay, then we start talking here, because it's like, I don't know how strong we say Blackbeard is. Is he as strong as a vice admiral? Is Ace like, I don't know. You start talking about these like chess pieces, these like Pokemon battles of like who's stronger than who, what means what, and I don't know where that empties out. I would like to think that Whitebeard is probably as strong as all 3 vice admirals together, which is hard to believe. Because I don't know I know what Okaji does. I know what Kizaru does. But when you start putting like hockey into it, and like, I don't know what Whitebeard's up to. Whitebeard doesn't look to be his strongest either, with all the medical bags he's got hooked up, unless that's part of his ability or something like that. Who knows? There's a lot of questions that go on. I've been questioning that for a while, but you guys tell me Whitebeard really is about that life. But I feel like even he himself couldn't do this by himself. So like, when we start talking about 3 vice admirals, then you got to put people like that, like that are as strong as vice admirals or stronger, that just don't want the title of. So like, yeah, we've got the 3. Then we got Okaji, we got Kizaru, we got the other one that I don't really know. But then you have people like Garp who are just as strong as those 3, who just don't want to deal with the title of and responsibilities. So how many of those are there out there? So like, you add in those 3, you add in Garp, you add in Son Goku, like, who knows how strong he is or isn't. Then you add in the 7 warlords as well. It's like, where does, like, how much of that is equal to Whitebeard? All 10 of them is equal to it? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm underestimating like Whitebeard as a whole, but I mean, you can't blame the viewer. We haven't seen the 7 warlords and the vice admirals have been built up so much. And the only thing we know of Whitebeard is just off pure name and like legend that seems to be like chirping around how, you know, how much fear he puts in like the others that talk about him in a war. We've yet to see like power on paper, you know? So I'd love to like get a piece of paper out and be like, okay, I got vice admirals over here, I got Garb, I got Goku, I got 7 warlords. Okay, I got Whitebeard, I got whoever's his first in command, like his Zoro, and then, you know, we got Ace. And you know, you figure Jinbei would help. So like, how many of these 10, 15 over here equal Whitebeard? How many can Ace take? Where does this go? I don't know. But what's wild is like, how do are we to say that Blackbeard is the strongest warlord? Because if he's not and Ace couldn't defeat him, then Ace doesn't really give us much help when you start talking about like higher up battle versus higher up battles. So it's an interesting question. And another thing is, I don't know everybody's powers, and I don't know the power system of the show. So like, I can't even dive into it. Blow, fluff your Minotaur. Why did she just do that with a high-pitched moan at the same time? One at the door, one at that staircase, one at this staircase. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh. I don't know whether to take him serious. Because I feel like I'm getting to that point in the story, like, I mean, I still got 600 something episodes to go. But we're getting to, like, a point where I'm at, and, I mean, it's hard to, like, balance out because I have so much information after the fact. But, like, you know when you've got an entire grasp on the Naruto power system, and, like, the different dojutsus, and eye abilities, and chakras, and forbidden abilities, and, like, all those type of things, and you know it all. And I will say, like, I want to say the same thing with Hunter x Hunter. Like, I know all that, but, like, Nen and what it's able to do is constantly changing. And I haven't been keeping up with Boruto, so who knows what they're allowing chakra to do these days. But Hunter x Hunter, you have a grasp on it, like the abilities and what this could do, and a specialist, manipulator, etc. So you can sit there and rattle off, like, hypothetical battles in those two, like, worlds. But I don't have a grasp on that in this yet. So there might be, like, abilities or special moves and things that are explained as the show goes, that, like, when they mention in other shows, it's like, oh, so they're, like, serious. So the first thing that comes to my mind here is, like, Conqueror's Haki. That seems to be, like, the tip of the top. Like, if you have that, it's like, okay. And essentially, and I'm sure there's going to be examples that where, like, you don't have to have that to beat somebody that has that. But as of right now, I don't know if it's possible that, like, if someone possesses that Conqueror's Haki, do you also need a Conqueror's Haki to beat them? Can you not have that? Can you have a Devil's Fruit that's that good that you don't need it? I don't know. The Haki system, though, seems to be like Hunter x Hunter, where, like, you have Nen and you don't. So if you don't possess Haki and you're going up against someone that has an understanding of Haki, let alone Conqueror's Haki, I think you're just fucked. No matter how strong, no matter how, you could have the best Devil's Fruit ever. You might have come up with a way to possess multiple Devil's Fruits in your system, which I'm sure we're gonna see. There's no way that just doesn't happen. But I feel like it is kind of like a Nen situation where, like, if you don't have it, you can't. It's like when we ran into that big sumo nephew kid that had the big black cleaver. He had Haki and Luffy didn't, and he had no idea what was going on. So it's an absolute mess. But you know how in Naruto, when you hear about, oh, they possess the Rinnegan, everybody knows, like, okay, he possesses that, be on alert. Like, oh shit, he has Sage Mode. Okay, us as, like, everybody in the story and the viewers lows, like, okay, that's a serious deal. Oh, he has a Susanoo? Okay, we gotta, process this correctly. I'm curious if there's things like that in this show. Because right now it's Devil's Fruit. But we've seen some of the most useless, like, random Devil's Fruits that aren't really about that. But we start talking about Conqueror's Haki, that seems to be a real, like, okay, when I hear that, I'm like, oh. So that's why it's so hard for me to, like, when I hear that Boa has that, I'm, like, at attention. I'm like, oh, what is Boa capable of? But at the same time, they show me Boa in, like, these, like, schoolgirl in love with Luffy light. That, like, it's hard for me to, like, I don't 100% know what Conqueror's Haki allows you to do. But knowing that she has that, it's like, dang, so she's, like, one of the ones. But what does that look like? I don't know. But I am curious, though, kind of how it goes. Because you kind of have the... And there's not shit happening in this episode, so we're just trying to, like, talk about what we can. Oh, the episode's almost over. I've been talking like that? Shit. Because you know how, like, in Naruto, that's one of the... It's like, there's, like, a couple things you can possess, and you're just, like, better. You know? Sharingan, Rinnegan. Maybe you got a perfect Sage Mode. You have a tailed beast. Like, that's pretty much it. If you don't have those, you do not compete. You cannot compete. It just is what it is. The might guys running around that are giving up their bodies to open the 8 gates just to die. Like, that's a rarity. You gotta possess like some of that. Sharingan, Rinnegan, perfect sage mode, Hashirama cells, and that's pretty much it. What I will say, what I like in Hunter x Hunter is like, you don't have to have like any. Oh, whoa. You don't have to have one of those. Like, it's not like, okay, if you're a manipulator, you always win. Like, that's just the best affinity to have. Specialist always win. Now, specialists do seem to be a little more busted than most, but you could be an enhancer, you could be an emitter, you can be XYZ, and Pokemon battles make matchups. So I'm curious where One Piece falls in that. All right, we ran into the big bad. This is the only big bad in here, so let's see how this goes. And then people also told me, so Logia, and maybe this was explained, I don't know. We hear Logia, but they're only naturally occurring elements or substances, however you want to categorize that as, which makes it easier to understand, but I feel like it really limits the pool, because I think that would be pretty cool if like he was sludge itself. But then I'm also curious of like, how deep are we going with the Logias? Like, what is considered like Logia or a naturally occurring element or whatever? I had a couple of you guys kind of tell me what categorizes as a Logia to make it easier to understand. But like Smoker, he's a Logia, right? My man is like indispensable, like turns into smoke. Crocodile, he's a Logia, correct? Enru, Ace, Kizaru. Is there anybody else that we've seen? So those 5 just I remember off the top of my head. But like, you're telling me Sludge Boy over here can't be like intangible with that sludge? I feel like that would be pretty cool. So I'm kind of curious of like where that ends, because is Okaji, he's Logia, correct? Like he himself just like he can shatter and just like remake himself, right? So I'm curious. Clearly there's going to be somebody out there that has a water Logia. But I'm also curious, like, what does that look like, you know? Because every element that we've ran into so far, I get and see how it could be a problem. The water one, and again, like, are we just out here, like, flooding people? I was going to say if the water could negate other people's devil's fruits, but it's ocean and not water. Guess you could just flood somebody out. I mean, are you creating, like, water spears, water swords, like... You think about like the fire and the ice. Like, okay, I understand how like ice is dangerous, but I'm trying to think like what water, how, because we're going to run into somebody that possesses a water Logia, but like, what does that look like? I don't know. So there's I mean, there's a ton of things that could be considered that, but I'm kind of curious to break down. But yeah, nothing too crazy happened in this episode, so hopefully we're able to get some decent dialogue, conversation wise, back and forth. I'm very curious. Like, again. And I would love to like search these things, but I can't search these things because they're just spoilers. But how it was kind of like breaking down the lineup there. Because I'm sure like the Marines, Whitebeard controls a lot of territory that just has a lot of fodder. That's probably like 80% of his crew. 80% of the Marines. They're just fodder. They're just warm bodies. Like Nami and Usopp and Chopper have a chance against that type of shit, you know? So it's like whatever. Like they have the masses, but like when I can just nuke 80% of your forces, like does that matter? So like let the fodder fight the fodder. When we start like doing a lineup of like, okay, if Blackbeard is not the strongest warlord, you know, Ace is only like as strong as him. So that's like a 1-for-1. They instantly cancel each other out. Okay, so we got 6 left. Whitebeard second in command. Is he strong as like 2 warlords? Is he strong as like the rest of the 6? Like let's say he can only take like the other half. So let's say you still got 3 warlords and all 3 vice admirals. Is like is and I don't know if it's blasphemy to say this, but like, can Whitebeard handle that? Like, be dead ass with me. And you guys don't have to tell me. I'm gonna see it on screen clearly. Because like just the thought of like the word war with Whitebeard is like making every Marine like piss down their leg. But like, if I had to give it with the knowledge that I have now, I would say that maybe he's as strong as the 3 vice admirals, like just the 3 of them. Kizaru, Okaji, and the third that I don't have enough knowledge about. Because I want to say that is because Rayleigh looked like if he was like even 5 or 10 years younger, he's just smacking Kizaru like it's not a thing. Which is crazy to see because like Kizaru could take our entire crew plus all the other like supernovas, right, like just by himself. But like old man Rayleigh is like kind of like, not maybe Kizaru wins over a longer drawn out battle just because of age difference. But it's like he's that much stronger than us, but Rayleigh's like right there with him, which makes me think Whitebeard is like that much ahead, which makes me think that Whitebeard could probably take all 3 vice admirals by himself. But like when you take the 3 vice admirals and then the others like Garp and Goku and whoever the others that we probably haven't even gotten introduced to, the other warlords that probably aren't as strong but probably have a bitch of a devil's fruit ability to deal with. Well, there's actually only one, right? It's just Doflamingo, correct? He's the only one that we haven't like seen and gotten a full breakdown of like his ability. We know it has something to do with like controlling or puppeting or something. We know what Moria's is. We know what Blackbeard's is. Who else have we? Oh god, that's only 2. Kuma, we've seen his as well. I don't know if Mihawk possesses an ability. I totally forgot about Mihawk. Holy shit. We don't know if Mihawk possesses a Devil's Fruit or he's just that strong of a swordsman. So that's 4. Who are the other 3 that I'm missing? I'm missing 3. Boa. Okay. Jinbei, who is like excommunicated. And then there's 1 left. Oh, it's Doflamingo, right? Yeah. So we know all theirs. We've gotten so it's just Doflamingos. You tell me Whitebeard could deal with all those Devil's Fruits plus the Vice Admiral. I don't know. If and when that time comes, I'll love to see what happens. What's the breakdown of, because the war is going to happen on screen. So we'll see how it goes. Appreciate it, everybody. Like, your favorite, subscribe, and as always,